It's the 10th of March 2025. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news tonight for the Newsfirst team, I am Jayamal Ratnayaka.
And I am Hashni Patirana. First up is a look at your headlines for tonight.
The duty of healing society must be readdressed while forming a discourse on the core principles of all religions. President iterates at ceremonial proclamation of the appointment of the Mahanayaka of the Amarapura sect.
නීතිය සහ සාමය ස්ථාපිත කිරීමේ ප්‍රධාන ආයතනය කෙනා නීතියෙන් කට්ටි පනමින් ඉන්නවා නම් පොදු පුරවැසියන්ට අපි කොහොමද ආරාධනා කරන්නේ නීතියට යට සමාජයක් සඳහා අතවන්නේ.
Deshabandhu Tennakon files petition seeking to prevent his arrest. CID inspects a residence of Katragama Basnayaka Nilabe in search of Deshabandhu Tennakon. Multiple factions call for the Batalanda Commission report to be tabled in Parliament. Izeran, the SJB's mayoral candidate for Colombo.
හොඳම සුදුස්ස අපි මේ වෙලාවේ අපි ඔෆිෂියලි එහෙම නැත්තම් මේ කියලා නැති උනත් දිල වශයෙන් කියලා නැති උනත් දැන්ට තියෙන ආරංචිය අනුව ඉරාන් ඇමතුමාව තමයි.
In your top story for tonight, the ceremonial proclamation of appointment to the Most Venerable Karagoda Uyangoda Maitri Murti Thera as the Mahanayaka of the Amarapura sect was held today. It was presented by President Anurukumara Disanayaka.
President Anurukumara Disanayaka presented the proclamation of appointment to the Most Venerable Karagoda Uyangoda Maitri Murti Thera as the chief prelate of the Amarapura sect. The ceremony was attended by the Mahasangha of the three sects, former presidents and others.
ප්‍රසාද පූජා පිළිගැන්වීම සඳහා අමරපුර නිකායා විවෘද්ධි දායකරවල් ජනාධිපති ලේකම් ආචාර්ය නන්දික සනත්පුර මහනිකායේ උත්තරීතර මහානායක පදවිය පිළිබඳ
ශාසනයේ සමහර වෙලාවට
Sometimes the true essence of the Shasana gets clouded. Its integrity, its teachings and even its history can be misunderstood or misrepresented. These distortions create problems that seem to be more common than ever in our world today. It is crucial that we face these challenges head on. What I want to stress more than anything is that we must come together as one. Working in harmony with the Mahasangha from all three sects is the key to making meaningful progress. I am filled with hope and optimism, especially when I think about the unity we can achieve. Our vision is to guide the next generation of theras who are disciplined, respectful and inspiring. We want to nurture a group that is not only knowledgeable but also capable of spreading the Dhamma beyond borders, reaching the global community with wisdom and compassion.
President Anurukumara Disanayaka also addressed the gathering.
පළමු කොටම නීතියට යටත් වෙන සමාජයක් අපි නිර්මාණය කළ යුතු නැද්ද? අපේ සමාජයේ
First and foremost, we must create a society where the rule of law is respected by everyone. Unfortunately, we don't always see that in our society. Instead of citizens following a shared legal framework, we sometimes witness small, powerful groups, whether through economic dominance, business influence, or even illegal weapons, acting like separate governments. These forces can strip away essential rights and opportunities from our people. This presents a significant challenge as we work to transform our state into one where, regardless of their position, submits to the rule of law. If we are striving to build a just society, where do we stand? How can we expect the public to follow the law if those in charge of law enforcement themselves evade it? How can we ensure economic fairness if the key players in our economy hoard wealth instead of sharing it with all? It is impossible to achieve true prosperity across all sectors if we don't first build a just foundation. This is why the task of healing our society must begin now. The Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, holds a liberating power, an essence that can guide us towards healing. Yet, today, rather than embracing this transformative wisdom, we see the rise of superficial idols and distractions. This is the reality we face. What our country needs is an open and honest discussion about the true liberating essence of the Dhamma. Only then can we restore well-being to our people and ensure the long-term flourishing of our society.
දහමක් තුලම ගැබ්වී තිබෙන විමුක්ති හරය පිළිබඳව ප්‍රබල සාකච්ඡාවක් කතිකාවතක් යලි අපේ රට අවශ්‍යයි.
Former Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakon filed a writ petition in the Court of Appeal today, seeking an interim order to suspend the arrest order issued by the Mapara Magistrates Court.
The writ petition was heard before the acting president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Muhammad Laffar Tahir and Justice Sarath Dissanayaka. Representing Deshabandhu Tennakun, President's Counsel Dr. Romesh De Silva, instructed by Attorney-at-Law Sanath Wijewardena, made submission in court. Dr. De Silva argued that the arrest order issued by the Matra Magistrates Court in connection with the shooting incident at a hotel in Waligama in 2023 was unlawful. He stated that the order was issued after a police officer died following the incident and after several pieces of evidence were recorded. Dr. Romesh De Silva further argued that according to the provisions of the Criminal Procedure Code, the magistrate did not have the authority to issue such an order and requested the court to declare it null and void. The State Counsel, appearing on behalf of the Attorney General, stated that they had not received any instructions regarding the petition. Given the imminent threat of arrest, Dr. Romesh De Silva requested a short interim order to prevent Tennakoon's arrest. Justice Tahir, addressing the court, stated, quote-unquote, "Only this morning did I receive the case file related to this matter. I am not yet aware of the details contained in this petition. Therefore, I believe it is appropriate to verify the facts after issuing notices to the respondents." Dr. De Silva then requested the court to obtain an assurance from the respondents that Tennakoon would not be arrested. Justice Tahir responded, quote-unquote, "The petitioner has been free from trouble for about a week. He will remain so." The court then issued notices to the respondents and scheduled the petition for the 12th March to verify the facts. On the 31st December 2023, a shooting occurred in front of the W15 hotel in Waligama, resulting in the death of a police officer attached to the Colombo Crime Division. The petitioner stated that the Waligama police had conducted an investigation into the incident, which was later taken over to the Criminal Investigation Department. The petition emphasized that the investigation was influenced by the Secretary of the Ministry of Public Security, Ravi Senaviratne, and former CID Director Shani Abesekara. Tennakoon's petition highlighted that the ongoing investigation was politically influenced, biased, and targeted against him. The petition also noted that the arrest order was issued without recording a statement from Tennakoon, which was unlawful. Tennakoon stated in his petition that he learned about the arrest order through the media. The respondents named in the petition include Matra Magistrate Aruna Buddhadasa, Acting Inspector General of Police Priyantha Weerasurya, Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala, Secretary of the Ministry of Public Security Ravi Senaviratne, former CID Director Shani Abesekara, and current CID Director P. Ampavila.
Case file.
Basnayaka Nilame of the Ruhunamaha Kataragama Devalaya, Dishan Gunasekara, said that a group of Criminal Investigation Department officers in civilian clothing searched his Mathar home last night looking for Deshabandhu Tennakoon. When Newsfirst inquired about the matter, the CID confirmed that the search had been conducted based on intelligence received. However, they did not confirm that they were specifically looking for Deshabandhu Tennakoon.
මගේ අම්මා අවුරුදු 84ක් වෙනවා. අම්මයි සේවකයෝ දෙන්නෙක් විතර ඉන්නේ ගෙදර. කිසිම සර්ච් වරන්ට් එකක්වත්.
My mother is 84 years old. Only my mother and two helpers were at home. A group of civilians arrived without a search warrant or uniformed officers. They had no legal documents and they couldn't even reveal their identities. When I inquired at the Malimbada police station in Matra, where my house is located, they were unaware of the search. Eventually, police officers arrived in a vehicle and identified themselves as police officers. They then took a statement from my mother, confirming that she was not disturbed. The real issue here is the disturbance caused to my 84-year-old mother, who takes about 30 pills a day. It is concerning to disturb such a vulnerable person. The police could have tracked my mobile phone and known that I travel to Colombo frequently. I believe this was done to embarrass the government. In the end, they asked if Deshabandhu Tennakoon was at my house. Deshabandhu Tennakoon faces similar accusations. A similar group had previously come to Matra without informing the local police. As citizens, we request that this should not be repeated.
පොලිසිය දැනුවත් නොකර යවුවා කියන එක. ඉතින් ඒකම රිපීට් වෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ රටේ පුරවැසි හැටියට අපි ඉල්ලන්නේ ඒව නොකර හිටිය නම් හොඳයි කියන එක. බොහොම
Meanwhile, the Basnayaka Nilame was summoned to the CID today to provide a statement regarding another investigation. After giving a statement for nearly 3 hours, he left the CID.
Kirivehera Soratha Thera built a house in Kataragama for Mahinda Rajapaksa during his presidency. I was asked to come and provide details about that house. I know the correct details because the person who built it is ill and Soratha Hamadro has passed away. I believe the CID realized that I am the only one who knows the specifics, so they asked me to provide the information. A man named Vimala Ratna built it and Soratha Thera funded it. The house was built for Mahinda Rajapaksa to stay in when he visited. During the time of the war victory, rooms or houses were built at every temple for Mahinda Rajapaksa to stay in.
ඔය ප්‍රශ්න වලින් පස්සේ කතා කරේ නෑ. කතා කරද්දි ඉතින් WhatsApp එකේ කතා කරන්නේ. නෑ කතා කරලා නෑ. දවස් 7ක් 8ක් 9ක් තිස්සේ තුමා නෑ. ඇත්තම ඒ දවස් 4 කතා කරලාද? නෑ දේශබන්දු මහත්තයා හෙට අනිද්දා උසාවියට ඇවිල්ලා මේ ප්‍රශ්න කියලා ඕක විවර කරගන්නේ. අනේ ඔබතුමාලා මහන්සි වෙන අපරාධේ.
A number of parties are currently urging the government to present the Batalanda Commission report to Parliament and implement its recommendations. The renewed discussion regarding this Commission report, which investigated events during the 1988 and 1990 period, was sparked by points raised by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe during a recent head-to-head interview on Al Jazeera last Thursday.
I'm flabbergasted. I mean, I have a copy of the report here.
What is the Batalanda report? In 1994, Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga was elected president, ending the 17-year rule of the United National Party. A key promise in her electoral campaign was to deliver justice for the human rights violations, including murders and disappearances that occurred during the 1988 to 1990 period. On the 21st of September 1995, President Kumaratunga appointed a Presidential Commission of Inquiry, which led to the creation of the renowned Batalanda Commission. The commission was tasked with investigating the illegal detention, torture, killings and disappearances of youth in houses located in the Biyagama Batalanda housing project, which was owned by the State Fertilizer Manufacturing Corporation. It was also tasked with identifying responsible individuals and presenting necessary recommendations. The commission was chaired by D. Jayavikrama, an appeal court judge at the time, with High Court Judge N.E. Disanayaka as a member. A team of police officers was assigned to assist in the investigation, with the Attorney General's Department managing evidence. The legal officers appointed by the Attorney General's Department for this purpose included current Supreme Court Judge Yasantha Kodagoda and current President's Counsel Sarath Jayamanna. The Commission inquired into the matter for several years, extending its investigation period on 12 occasions, and finally handed over its report to President Kumaratunga on the 26th of March 1998. What is the connection between the Batalanda Commission and Ranil Wickremesinghe? At the time, Ranil Wickremesinghe was the Minister of Industry, and the Batalanda housing complex fell under the purview of the Ministry of Industry. According to evidence presented by the Commission, the following houses at the complex A2/2, A2/1, A2/3, A1/7, B2, B1 and B7 were used by Ranil Wickremesinghe. It was also revealed that a police team, including the then OIC of the Palyagoda Police, Douglas Piris, had been provided housing within the Batalanda complex. Moreover, 13 houses in the complex were allocated to officers of the Kalaniya Riot Control Unit. One of the houses had been used as Ranil Wickremesinghe's office, and the report indicated that his instructions and orders were followed when allocating the remaining houses. Ranil Wickremesinghe was also summoned by the Commission for questioning in relation to the findings. After gathering evidence for almost over 3 years, the Commission made several key recommendations. The primary recommendation was that public officials and police officers involved in the killings should be stripped of their civil rights, as they had severely violated human rights. The Commission also suggested that additional powers be given to the judiciary to ensure the implementation of this recommendation. The report emphasized that the individual representing the executive had acted without fear of punishment, violating the law on numerous occasions. What happened to the Batalanda report? Although the report was handed over to President Kumaratunga, none of its recommendations were implemented. When questioned by journalists about this, Mangala Samaravira, a prominent government figure at the time, responded by stating the following.
To this day, her reluctance to present the report is because she doesn't want to be criticized for doing to her main rival, the opposition leader, what the UNP did to Sirimava Bandaranaike. Her stance is that she will not present it until her campaign is over. After this election, the report in its entirety will be presented to the masses, to the court of public opinion.
Despite the Batalanda Commission report being used as election propaganda, it is yet to be utilized to serve its rightful purpose, which is to deliver justice. BBC journalist Frances Harrison displayed the report to Ranil Wickremesinghe during the Al Jazeera program and posed a challenge. She claimed the report had been published based on the orders of the government.
It says printed by the order of the government. I'm sorry, but there is a report.
Earlier today, Chief Secretary of the Frontline Socialist Party, Kumar Gunaratnam, explained why it is vital for the report to be presented.
The Batalanda Commission වාර්තාවක් තියෙනවා කියලා කිව්වහම නිල වාර්තාවක් නෙවෙයි මේක පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සම්මත වෙලා නැහැ. නිසා ඔහු ඉතාල බය නැතුව කියනවා මේ චන්ද්‍රිකා ආණ්ඩුවෙන් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ගෙනාවේ නැහැ.
The current Batalanda Commission report is not an official one since it has not been tabled in Parliament. He fearlessly claims that Chandrika's government did not bring it into Parliament. What we expect is for justice to be delivered while ensuring the necessary political and legal provisions are drafted to ensure it is never repeated. The incumbent government must go beyond tabling this in Parliament and deliver justice throughout the entire process. According to this report, Douglas Pearis was given a promotion as ASP by passing 150 others. Vijaydas Elenarachi was an eloquent speaker from the JVP camp, especially during the 1982 presidential election. Ranil Wickremesinghe intervened to hand him over to Douglas Pearis. After that, we only hear of his death. This report includes details to prove Ranil Wickremesinghe is connected to this. He was brought to Colombo and handed over based on Ranil's orders and directive. The Commission has recommended that they be stripped of the civil rights. Although many recommendations are presented, none of them were acted upon. When Sajith Premadasa was questioned on this, he was mute. Why? Because it was his father who presented the potential promotion of Douglas Pearis to the cabinet. Who made that recommendation? It was R. Premadasa.
උසස්වීම දෙන්න කියලා ඩග්ලස් පීරිස්ට මෙයාගේ අර මේ විභාගේ පාස් වුණ නැතුණට කමක් නැහැ 150 දෙනෙක් පන්නලා මෙයාව උසස්වීම දෙන්න කියලා කිව්වේ කවුද? ඒක කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට නිර්දේශය කරේ කවුද? ආර් ප්‍රේමදාස.
A group of civil activists today submitted a letter to the President's office urging that the Batalanda Commission report be presented to Parliament.
The Citizens' Movement Against Bribery, Corruption and Waste, along with several other civil groups, prepared the letter and handed it over to the President's office this morning.
Today, our organization, together with various civil groups, submitted a letter to the President calling for the immediate presentation of the Batalanda Commission report in Parliament. This report, which is about 159 pages, reveals serious allegations about Ranil Wickremesinghe's involvement in a range of illicit activities. Let me highlight a few. Unauthorized meetings were deeply connected to the Batalanda housing scheme's illegal detention centers and torture camps. Ranil Wickremesinghe instructed the liquidator of State Fertilizer Manufacturing Corporation to allocate housing in the Batalanda scheme, directly enabling the creation of illegal detention centers in homes B2, B8, B34, A1 and A8. He holds indirect responsibility for the establishment of these unlawful detention centers and torture chambers in housing complexes, alongside Senior Superintendent of Police Nalin Delkanda. Additionally, the report outlines 5 critical recommendations, one of which asserts, despite the judicial powers granted to the Supreme Court, fundamental rights have been repeatedly violated without consequence. This abuse of human rights continues because those in the executive are not held accountable, with their misconduct going unaddressed. The report recommends that the Supreme Court be granted the authority to impose severe penalties, including the loss of civic rights on those who persistently violate citizens' fundamental rights. This could also apply to revoking Ranil Wickremesinghe's civic rights. In light of these findings, we urge the National People's Power Government to immediately present this report in Parliament. At the same time, we have submitted this letter to the Criminal Investigation Department demanding prompt legal action. Ranil Wickremesinghe's civic rights must be revoked and he must be held accountable for his actions. There are rumours that Ranil Wickremesinghe is attempting to return to Parliament. However, should his civic rights be revoked, he would be disqualified from doing so. I call on Anurukumara Dissanayake to act swiftly and enforce the law, delivering justice for the youth of this nation.
Before submitting the letter to the President's office, the Citizens' Movement Against Bribery, Corruption and Waste also lodged a complaint with the Criminal Investigation Department.
News First with the people. The local government election Sri Lanka 2025.
The Election Commission has announced the dates for submitting nominations for the upcoming Pradesh Sabha election in Mana, Punakari and Dehiatakandia. Nomination papers can be submitted from the 24th of March until 12 noon on the 27th of March.
Chairman of the Election Commission RMA Ratnayake said that candidates can deposit bonds from today until 12 noon on the 26th March. The Election Commission has called in district returning officers as well as deputy and assistant returning officers for consultations on the nomination process. Commissioner General of Elections Saman Sri Ratnayake said that the nomination acceptance process was thoroughly discussed during a recent meeting at the Election Commission. As of now, 57 independent groups and 18 political parties have deposited bonds for 168 local government bodies. The official acceptance of nominations will begin on the 17th March.
Kadwala organizer of the Samgi Jana Balawegaya, Hirunika Premachandra, has said that Iran Wickremaratne will be the SJB's Colombo mayoral candidate. She made this statement today while arriving to deposit the bonds for the Kadwala Municipal Council.
As a team, this time, based on the information I have, Iran Wickremaratne is contesting. Their party has appointed the most suitable person. Although our party hasn't officially announced the most suitable candidate yet, based on current information, it's Iran. He is a leader who has obtained prestigious qualifications from many large universities around the world and understands thoughts and aspirations of the people.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Perumal deposited bonds for all local government bodies in the Colombo district today.
අපි කළමනාකරණය දන්න ව්‍යාපාර ලෝකය ගැන දන්න ඒ වගේම මේ වාණිජ අගනුවර සම්බන්ධයෙන් ශක්තියක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් පුද්ගලයෙක්ව අපේ නගරාධිපති අපේක්ෂක හැටියට නම් කරනවා.
දැන් මේ අද දවසේදී ප්‍රවෘත්තියක් වාර්තා වුණා මේ චමල් රාජපක්ෂ මහතා ප්‍රකාශ කරා කියලා එතුමා මේ පාදේශ සභා ඡන්දයකට ඉල්ලනවා කියලා. ඔබතුමා මහලේකම් විදිහට ඒකේ නිවැරදිභාවය කොහොමද කියන්නේ?
මට නම් එතුමා දැනුවත් කළා නැහැ. හැබැයි ඉතින් එතුමා එහෙම ඡන්දය ඉල්ලන්න ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා නම් අපි ඒක ඉතා සතුටින් බාර ගන්න කැමතියි. එතුමා පක්ෂය දැනුවත් කළා නැහැ. එහෙම දෙයක් ගැන.
The Podujana Eksat Perumana held a media briefing today outlining their preparations for the upcoming local government elections.
A significant number of candidates, both men and women, who have previously been affiliated with various political parties, including former members of parliament, will be featured on the list of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party-led Podujana Eksat Perumana. The response to the claim that you have been deceived will be provided by me. Gamini Tilakasiri has officially resigned from the Samaki Jana Balawegaya. In his resignation letter addressed to SJB leader Sajith Premadasa, Gamini Tilakasiri said he will also step down from his role as the Maharugama electorate organizer. The letter highlights that Tilakasiri's decision to resign comes after growing concerns over the party's current direction. He said that he could no longer continue to work within the party, criticizing the way senior members and intellectuals were being sidelined in the party's ongoing programs.
The Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources announced that a new Fisheries Act is set to be drafted.
Sri Lanka ජලතීරයේ සහ මහමුදේ
Our aim is to catch a massive quantity of fish while fishing in the sea of Sri Lanka. To achieve this, we are working on strengthening the Fisheries Act. The current act has been amended 8 times so far and over 80 regulations have been made. The committee has decided to draft a new act that will include all the necessary new amendments.
නව පනතක් ඇති කිරීම ඉතාම වැදගත් කියන එක අපි කමිටිය විසින් තීරණය කරා.
Biz Fast.
Former Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy commended the country's impressive economic stabilization efforts. He expressed these views at the first public event in celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, titled A New Paradigm in Macroeconomic Management.
I personally have not come across quite such an impressive stabilization in my kind of professional career, which now goes back well over 50 years. It's been a remarkable achievement to bring inflation down from 70%, and I think core inflation is now down to about 3%, and the relatively low inflation is to a significant extent not due to any demand side pressure, but due to the electricity price. So it's been a remarkable achievement, and the governor and his team need to be given the highest commendation and credit for the speed with which. I know when he first moved very aggressively, there was a lot of consternation and criticism, but clearly that was the right thing to do. Repeating bouts of macroeconomic stress have arguably been the key economic cause of Sri Lanka's relative lack of progress compared to the successful countries in Asia. What caused this repeating bout of macro instability? And of course, the 17 IMF programs, which are a reflection of those bouts of instability. So if you look back, I think you will all agree that the main cause of the macro instability was invariably the fiscal operations of the government. We have had a rather toxic combination of populist policies on the one hand and an entrenched entitlement culture on the part of the people on the other. And the two kind of fed off each other, and there was a negative feedback loop which pulled down the country's macroeconomic performance. Now, and each time we went into an IMF program, you would see stabilization take place, but as the electoral cycle turned and elections approached, we would again go back to square one. We need to make sure that we have enough buffers on the fiscal side and the external side to look after any kind of exogenous shocks, because the world is becoming a more uncertain place. It's in terms of the kind of the global economy, it's becoming an uncertain place in terms of climate risks, etc. We need to be utterly focused on building up our reserves. We need to be on that path of building up reserves because the world is becoming more uncertain and the climate is becoming more destructive. I do feel that we are now in a far, far better place with the Public Finance Management Act, with the CBA, with the more flexible management of the exchange rate. All that has brought us to a much, much better place, and it's reflected so far in the excellent improvement, excellent stabilization that we have seen. But as I've said before, we have been here before. We've stabilized the economy effectively under previous IMF programs. So we have done that quite well, I would say, in the past. But then, because we don't do the structural reforms, the pressure comes, particularly as elections come, and there's big policy reversal, and everything slips. So the task ahead is, one, to secure the gains that have been made in terms of the new paradigm of macroeconomic policy making, and also to make sure that we get growth, accelerated growth.
Hope on Wheels, an initiative by Rotary, took place in Colombo yesterday.
Hope on Wheels, a joint initiative of Rotary District 3220 Sri Lanka and Maldives and Rotary District 2982 India, marked its first phase at the Independence Square yesterday. In the ceremonial first phase, 1,000 bicycles are donated to individuals and students across Sri Lanka, empowering livelihoods, education and economic growth.
I think this is also indicating sort of ranging relationship that we have with Sri Lanka, that it is not limited to between governments. In fact, the people to people has always been the bedrock of relationship, whether it is Buddhism, whether it is fact that we have, we play cricket, or the cuisine, the culture, the history, our civilization, everything brings thoughts to naturally. And that, I think, this dimension that there is this Rotary Club cooperation across the Box Strait, that's also happening.
The district governor of the Rotary District 3220, Sushena Ranatunga, commented on the project.
So Hope on Wheels is a joint project with Rotary District 2982 in India, and our objective is to give 2,500 bicycles to underprivileged children and small business owners, especially in North, East, North Central and Northwestern provinces. So that we are launching today with 1,000 bicycles, and balance will come in due course.
This is a Hope on Wheels project is to Sri Lankan students, the girl students, poor students. We have tie-up with 3220 Rotary District 3220 Sri Lanka and Maldives. This MOU signed for 2,000 cycle. We are giving the first phase 1,000 cycle today is giving.
The event was attended by several key figures, including past district governors of RID 3220, Indian representatives, Rotarians and friends of Rotary.
3, 2, 1.
A blood donation and medical camp organized by the 2004 batch of St. John's College, Jaffna, took place in Colombo today.
The blood donation and medical camp was held to mark the 40th anniversary of their graduation. The medical and blood donation camps took place at the Peter Hall of St. John's College, Jaffna. Teachers, students and members of the school community actively participated in the event.
Mark Carney has won the race to succeed Justin Trudeau as Canada's Prime Minister, vowing to win the trade war against US President Donald Trump as he takes charge of the country at a time of deep instability. Mark Carney, the former governor of the Canadian Central Bank and Bank of England, beat three rivals in the Liberal Party's leadership contest in a landslide. In much of his victory speech, Carney, 59 years old, attacked Trump, who has imposed tariffs on Canada, and said he wants to make the country the 51st US state.
My government will put into action our plan to build a stronger economy, to create new trading relationships with reliable trading partners, and to secure our borders. There's someone who's trying to do the opposite. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. We didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
Khane is expected to be sworn in as Prime Minister in the coming days and will lead the Liberal in the next general election, which is expected to be called in the coming weeks. Khane, now Prime Minister designate, has never served in elected office. Khane, who will lead a minority government in Parliament, could either call a snap general election himself or opposition parties could force one with a no-confidence vote later this month. The governing Liberals have seen a remarkable political turnaround since Trudeau's exit, as Canadians have been galvanized by Donald Trump's trade threats and support for annexing their country.
Syria's interim president Ahmed al-Sharaa has launched an investigation after hundreds of people were killed in fighting between security forces and fighters loyal to ousted President Bashar al-Assad in the coastal cities of Latakia and Tartus.
Syria's interim president Ahmed al-Sharaa said that the country was confronting attempts to drag it into a civil war. In his speech, al-Sharaa said that remnants of the former regime had no choice but to surrender immediately, as he vowed to hold accountable anyone included in civilian bloodshed. Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. The Syrian presidency earlier announced that an independent committee had been formed to investigate the violations against civilians and identify those responsible for them, adding that the perpetrators would be referred to court. The presidency's statement read, quote-unquote, "The committee has the right to use whoever it deems appropriate to perform its duties and submit its report to the presidency of the Republic within a maximum period of 30 days from the date of issuance of this decision."
Warships from Iran, China and Russia kicked off their annual joint exercises in the Gulf of Oman today, showing off their military ties at US. President Donald Trump upends long-standing Western alliances.
The Security Belt 2025 drills taking place near the Iranian port of Chahabar is the fifth joint naval exercise Iran, China and Russia have held since 2019. The Gulf of Oman is a crucial gateway connecting the Indian Ocean and the Strait of Hormuz, through which more than 1/4 of the world's seaborne traded oil passes.
People's Republic of China, Army Navy name Bautu. Congratulations and welcomes the arrival of the command and crew to the territorial waters.
The US maintains its own significant presence in the region via the Fifth Fleet, which is based out of nearby Bahrain. Russia's defense ministry said the joint naval exercises will involve 15 combat ships, support vessels and gunboats, as well as helicopters. China, meanwhile, deployed the Type 052D guided missile, destroyer Bato and supply ship Gayuhu from a nearby naval escort task force to take part in the exercise. The drills, with an aim to enhance military trust and strengthen practical cooperation, will include simulated strikes on maritime targets, visit both search-seizure operations and search and rescue drills.
After a long wait of 12 years, India emerged victorious in the ICC Champions Trophy, defeating New Zealand in a thrilling final at the Dubai International Stadium.
The 25,000-seat Dubai International Stadium was packed with a sea of blue, with Indian fans cheering their team to glory. India's bowlers set the tone early, restricting New Zealand to 251 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in their allocated 50 overs. New Zealand's opening partnership of Will Young and Rachin Ravindra provided a solid start with 57 runs, but the Indian bowlers quickly applied pressure. Under pressure from the Indian bowlers, several key New Zealand batsmen, including Kane Williamson and Tom Latham, were dismissed for low scores. Daryl Mitchell and Michael Bracewell both scored half-centuries, stabilising New Zealand's innings. Batting first, New Zealand posted a total of 251 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in the allocated 50 overs. In reply, India's openers Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill put together a solid 105-run stand. Rohit Sharma top-scored with 76 runs. Akshar Patel, who joined Shreyas Iyer, formed a vital 61-run partnership for India's 4th wicket. Iyer contributed 48 runs to the chase. India reached the target in 49 overs, winning by 6 wickets and claiming their 3rd Champions Trophy title. In the post-match press conference, Indian captain Rohit Sharma made it clear that he had no plans to retire from one-day international cricket. The celebrations continued in the dressing room with the players soaking in the triumph. The tournament was broadcast live on TV1, the official broadcaster, and on the sirasatv.lk website.
Internationally renowned singer, songwriter, entrepreneur and Grammy-nominated artist Aloe Blacq arrived in Sri Lanka this morning.
This is tonight's happy headline. Good night.
Happy headlines.
Internationally renowned singer, songwriter and entrepreneur Aloe Blacq arrived in Sri Lanka this morning at the invitation of the new government and the Sri Lanka Tourist Board. Blacq is best known for his chart-topping hits like I Need a Dollar and Wake Me Up. Professor Gomika Udugama Surya, Senior Advisor to the President on Science and Technology, welcomed Aloe Blacq upon his arrival at the Bandaranaike International Airport.
It's nice to be here in Sri Lanka. It's my first time, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the sights, traveling around the country to the south to see some beaches, and into Sigiriya to Lion Rock is really special. It gives me the opportunity to come here and learn more about the country, to find ways to be part of the development and growth of this beautiful nation, and hopefully be part of a story that expresses to the rest of the world that Sri Lanka is a place to invest in. And I look forward to coming back many more times.
During his 2-day stay in Sri Lanka, Blacq is expected to engage with local entrepreneurs, artists, fostering collaboration that could benefit both the cultural and scientific communities.
Happy headlines.